All right, so today we're diving into something a little different.
Right.
Faith, love, and classic literature.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, so we're going to be looking at how this timeless story of Romeo and Juliet intersects with the message of Psalm 23.
Oh, wow. That's it's fascinating to consider how a story about,
Yeah.
impulsive young love
Rare.
can offer insights into, these complexities of trust and faith,
Yeah.
especially when you pair it with a psalm like this.
And what makes this even more intriguing is the source material.
Oh, okay.
We're looking at this document from No Labeling.
Okay.
It's a Christian-inspired brand, and they're launching their new line on Valentine's Day.
Interesting.
They seem to be kind of weaving these seemingly different elements together to spread a message of hope.
I see what they're doing there.
Yeah.
That's pretty insightful how they're using the tragedy
Right.
of Romeo and Juliet as a cautionary tale.
Exactly.
And contrasting it with, those themes of enduring love and guidance
Right.
that you find in Psalm 23.
Okay, so for those who maybe need a quick refresher on the story,
Give it to me.
Romeo and Juliet, two young lovers
Yes.
from these feuding families,
Of course.
they fall head over heels, but their impulsive decisions,
Yeah.
fueled by passion and lack of guidance,
They didn't think it through.
lead to a heartbreaking
The
end.
classic story. But yeah, you hit all the points.
Yeah.
Their story really does underscore the dangers of, just relying solely on your human emotions and understanding,
Right.
especially when it comes to matters of the heart.
Right.
This is where No Labeling brings in Psalm 23.
Okay, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Beautiful and well-known psalm.
It is.
But how do they connect that
Right.
to this?
Yeah, how do they connect it to these star-crossed lovers?
Exactly.
Well, they see Psalm 23 as a blueprint
Okay.
for trusting in God's plan,
Okay.
even when it comes to love and relationships.
So it's about shifting our perspective from the immediacy of our desires to a deeper understanding of God's timing.
Exactly.
It's like choosing patience over impulse, right?
Yes, it is.
But how does Psalm 23 actually speak to that idea?
Well, just think about the imagery that's used in the psalm.
Okay.
The shepherd leads his sheep to green pastures and still waters.
Okay.
He guides them with care,
Right.
provides for their needs.
Mm-hmm.
This can be seen as a metaphor for trusting in God's guidance
Okay.
and provision in our own lives.
So instead of rushing into things like Romeo and Juliet,
Yes.
we should be more like the sheep,
That's
trusting that we'll be led to where we need to be in the right time.
Exactly. The psalm emphasizes that God,
Okay.
like a good shepherd, knows what's best for us
Yeah.
and will lead us on the right path,
Right.
even when we feel lost or uncertain.
Now, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Is this idea of God's timing in romantic love something that's been discussed by theologians throughout history?
Oh, yeah. It's actually,
Has Psalm 23 ever been connected to love in this way?
it's a fascinating area
Yeah.
of theological exploration.
Okay.
Some interpretations focus on the idea of God, orchestrating our romantic encounters,
No.
while others emphasize the importance of seeking God's wisdom
Right.
in choosing a partner
Okay.
and building a relationship grounded in faith.
So it's not necessarily about waiting for a divine meet cute,
Right.
but more about seeking discernment and guidance throughout the entire journey.
It is.
Okay.
That Psalm 23 encourages us to cultivate a relationship with God where we can seek his guidance and wisdom
Right.
in all aspects of our lives,
Exactly.
including our relationships.
And wouldn't you say that resonates with No Labeling's mission
Absolutely.
of bringing faith into everyday life?
Yeah.
Even through something as simple as a t-shirt.
They seem to be promoting the idea that faith isn't just confined to Sunday mornings.
Right.
It can inform how we approach our relationships, our choices,
Yeah.
even how we celebrate something like Valentine's Day.
Speaking of choices, Romeo and Juliet's tragic end wasn't just about their whirlwind romance. It was about a series of impulsive decisions.
Yeah.
How does Psalm 23 speak to that aspect of their story?
Well, one of the key messages of Psalm 23
Okay.
is the idea of finding comfort and refuge in God's presence.
Okay.
He restores my soul.
Right.
It's a promise of hope and restoration,
Okay.
even when we face challenges
Right.
and make mistakes.
Yeah.
And this stands in stark contrast
Yeah.
to the despair
Okay.
that ultimately consumed Romeo and Juliet.
So if they had found solace in their faith, perhaps they would have been able to navigate their difficulties differently.
It's a thought-provoking question.
Yeah.
Psalm 23 reminds us that even in the darkest of times,
Yeah.
God's love offers us a safe haven, a source of strength and renewal.
Right.
And this is something that Romeo and Juliet, in their isolation and despair, seem to have missed.
It makes you wonder, how often do we, like Romeo and Juliet,
allow
our emotions to dictate our choices without seeking guidance or seeking solace in our faith?
No labeling seems to be suggesting that perhaps there's a different way.
Right.
A path that involves seeking guidance, trusting in a bigger plan, finding comfort in God's presence, even when things get tough.
And isn't that a refreshing perspective on love?
Yeah, it is.
Especially as we approach Valentine's Day, a holiday often centered around romantic ideals and passionate expressions.
It's almost like they're offering a different kind of love story.
Yeah.
One grounded in faith, trust, and a deeper understanding of God's love.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes their message so compelling. They're not just selling a product.
Right.
They're inviting us to explore a different way of approaching love and relationships. You know, it's interesting how this idea of seeking guidance and finding solace in God's love, you know, it can be applied not just to romantic love, but to all relationships.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
We often focus on the romantic aspect of it.
Right.
But what about like our friendships, family dynamics,
absolutely,
work relationships?
All of them.
Could Psalm 23 offer wisdom there too?
Absolutely. The principles that we've been talking about, patience, seeking guidance, finding hope and restoration, those are universal.
Yeah.
They can provide a framework for navigating the complexities of any relationship, really.
So even when like facing a conflict with a friend or making a tough decision about family, we can turn to those same principles we find in Psalm 23.
Exactly. Imagine approaching those situations with that same trust and faith. That no labeling is encouraging us to bring to romantic love.
Yeah.
What if we paused, sought guidance, and trusted that things would work out according to God's plan?
Okay.
Even in those really challenging relationships.
Yeah, it would definitely change the way we react.
Right.
Instead of letting our emotions dictate our actions, we'd be more inclined to seek like a higher perspective.
Exactly.
A sense of peace amidst the chaos.
And that message of restoration that we talked about.
Right.
Becomes even more crucial in those difficult relationships. Because even if things don't go exactly as we hoped, even if there's hurt or disappointment, God's love offers a source of strength and comfort to help us move forward.
Almost like viewing those relationships through a different lens. One that filters out the negativity, allows us to see the potential for growth and healing.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of another important point. That no labeling emphasizes. Choosing love over fear.
That's interesting. How does that connect?
Well, think back to Romeo and Juliet. Their families were driven by fear and hatred. Which ultimately led to that tragic outcome.
And no labeling seems to be suggesting that if we choose love as our guiding principle, even and perhaps especially in those challenging relationships, we can break free from those cycles of fear and negativity.
So instead of letting fear control our interactions, we approach those relationships with a mindset of love and compassion, even when it's difficult.
Precisely. It's about making a conscious decision. To choose love even when we've been hurt. Even when it feels risky. It's about recognizing that love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice we make every single day.
And that choice can have a ripple effect, right?
You can.
Impacting not just our own lives, but those around us.
It's like the saying, love begets love. The more we choose love, the more we attract it into our lives and inspire others to do the same.
It's about creating a world where love rather than fear is the driving force.
That's it.
That's a world I want to live in.
It's inspiring to see a brand like No Labeling actively promoting that message, going beyond just selling clothes.
They're spreading a message of hope and transformation. And that's something special. It's about inviting us to consider how faith can inform our daily lives and our interactions with others.
It really makes you think, how can we practically apply these ideas in our own lives beyond just wearing a T-shirt with a scripture verse on it?
That's the key question.
Yeah.
And I think it starts with awareness.
Awareness of what?
Awareness of the choices that we're making in our relationships. the messages that we're internalizing,
right,
the lens through which we're viewing the world. It's about taking a step back and honestly examining our own thoughts and behaviors.
So asking ourselves, are we reacting out of fear or love?
Yes.
Are we seeking guidance?
Exactly.
Are we trusting in God's plan? Are we choosing to see the potential for growth and healing in those difficult relationships?
Those are powerful questions.
Yeah.
And I think they're essential for anyone who wants to create more loving and fulfilling relationships, regardless of who those relationships are with.
It's about going beyond the surface level.
Yes.
And really exploring the deeper meaning of the kind of love that transforms us and the world around us. That seems to be what no labeling is pointing to.
They're challenging us to think about what it means to live a life grounded in faith and love, not just in romantic relationships, but in every aspect of our being.
And that's something worth celebrating.
It is.
Not just on Valentine's Day, but every single day.
Every day.
But since we are approaching Valentine's Day, I am curious to hear your thoughts on how no labeling's message might resonate with people during this particular holiday.
I think for many, Valentine's Day can be a time of mixed emotions. It can highlight the absence of romantic love, or bring up past hurts and disappointments. It can feel like a lot of pressure to find that perfect love story.
But what no labeling seems to be offering is a different perspective. Their message reminds us that even in the absence of romantic love, we are still surrounded by a love that is constant and unwavering.
It's a message of hope and comfort, reminding us that we're never truly alone. And it encourages us to shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, from the temporary to the eternal.
It's about recognizing the abundance of love that already exists in our lives, whether it's from friends, family, or community, or most importantly, from God.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's a good place to shift gears a bit. What if instead of focusing solely on romantic love, we used Valentine's Day as an opportunity to celebrate all the different forms of love in our lives?
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Imagine a day dedicated to expressing gratitude for our friendships, family bonds, and the love we receive from our communities. It's a beautiful way to expand our understanding of love, to recognize its presence in all aspects of our lives.
And it aligns perfectly with no labeling's message of embracing a love that is inclusive, unconditional, and transformative.
Absolutely.
It's not about finding that one perfect person.
Right.
It's about recognizing the love that already surrounds us.
It's a message that speaks to the deepest longing of the human heart, the desire to be loved and to belong.
Right.
And no labeling seems to be suggesting that we can find that sense of belonging.
Yeah.
Not just in these fleeting romantic encounters, but in a deep and abiding connection with God and with each other.
It's a beautiful vision.
It is.
And I think it's one that has the potential to inspire real change in the world.
Yeah.
It's about moving away from the consumerism and the pressure that often surrounds Valentine's Day and towards a more genuine expression of love in all its forms.
It's amazing how a story like Romeo and Juliet, a tale of impulsive young love, and a psalm about a shepherd and his sheep can spark such deep, reflections on faith and love.
Yeah, it really speaks to the power of storytelling.
It does.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And the enduring wisdom found in Scripture,
Right.
even though these sources, seem worlds apart, they offer these incredible insights into the human experience and the choices we make. And it's fascinating how no labeling has woven them together
It is.
to create such a compelling message. And that's what makes this deep dive, I think, so engaging. We're not just like dissecting a brand campaign here.
Right.
We're exploring the deeper implications of their message and how it connects to our own lives, our own relationships, and how we choose to approach the world.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, we have.
Exploring those dangers of impulsive decisions.
Right.
The wisdom and comfort you find in Psalm 23, and the importance of choosing love over fear.
And we discussed how no labeling is kind of reframing Valentine's Day as an opportunity to celebrate not just romantic love, but the enduring and transformative power of God's love in all aspects of our lives.
And how that love can be a source of strength and guidance in all of our relationships.
Yes, but before we wrap things up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought, a thought-provoking one.
All right, I'm ready.
What if, instead of viewing Romeo and Juliet as a purely tragic tale, we saw it as a story of hope?
That's an interesting twist.
Yeah.
How do you see hope in a story with such a heartbreaking end?
Well, think about the impact their story has had on, generations of readers and viewers. It's become this iconic tale.
It has.
This cautionary reminder of the power of love and the consequences of impulsive actions. But it's also a testament to, that enduring human desire for connection, for belonging, for a love that transcends boundaries and defies the odds.
You're right. Their love, though ultimately ending in tragedy, continues to inspire and resonate with people centuries later. And in that sense, their story does offer a glimmer of hope.
Right.
It speaks to the power of love.
Yeah.
To move us, to challenge us, to remind us of our own capacity for deep connection.
And wouldn't you say that echoes the message of hope and redemption found in Psalm 23?
Absolutely.
Even when we face difficult circumstances, even when our human relationships falter.
Yeah.
There's a love that endures, a love that can guide us through those dark times.
It's a beautiful way to reframe the story.
Yeah.
To see those glimmers of hope even amidst the tragedy. And it connects so perfectly with No Labeling's message. Of spreading love.
Yeah.
And encouraging a deeper understanding.
Yeah.
Its transformative power.
So as we conclude this deep dive, let's carry that message of hope with us.
Yes.
Let's choose love over fear. Seek guidance in our relationships, and trust in that enduring love that has the power to heal and redeem.
And maybe transform the world around us.
And let's remember that every day, not just on Valentine's Day,
every day
is an opportunity to celebrate that love and to let it guide our thoughts, words, and actions.